So, I just want to say my spiel of the deal, if you will, on not just Senator Vance, but any Republican legislator who has not only the power, but the duty to seek articles of impeachment or to sue in court and get emergency injunctions whenever they see that a president is doing anything illegal or in violation of our laws or causing our nation to be endangered. So I find it to be really annoying when Senator Vance, even though he's quite new to the whole senator job, if you will, since 2022, he's had well over a year, he blames Biden for the following things. For basically causing a security crisis with our nation by allowing in millions of people who are not vetted, okay, and he calls them all illegals and doesn't distinguish or explain that. And the problem with that is a lot of people think that our president is to blame or has the power to control who can come into our country and who cannot. And actually, that's absolutely not true. That's not correct. None of that is true. And here's why. Our legislators write how many people can come in for refugee status or asylum status. There's specific federal laws. They were created that each year our legislators establish how many people can come in and apply for asylum or refugee status. There's a cap, okay? And so it's in the hundreds of thousands. So in like a 3-year period of time, I think there was like over, I don't know, it was well into the millions, okay? So he far surpassed the amount of people that are allowed to come in by over 1,000%, okay? So in our system, our government is checks and balances. So we have 3 branches and they all keep each other in check. We have the United States Supreme Court that can say, no, President, you cannot do that. Literally, our federal judges actually have more power than the President of the United States. The legislators, the President gets to choose who a federal judge will be if they need a new judge, and the legislators will all vote on it, and then it's the United States Supreme Court, though, who gets put in their power by those branches, but it's the United States Supreme Court who calls them into check, okay? And then we have federal agencies that who gives them the power? It is our legislators, okay? The senators, the congressmen, they give the power to the federal agencies. So when you have Border Patrol seen on video lifting up barbed wire so they can just come in and not even check in, right? When you have a president who is far surpassing the vetted amount, the amount of people who can come and apply for refugee status by the millions each year, that's a complete violation of the law, okay? The president doesn't get to decide how many get to come in. The legislators do. But they don't tell you that. So it's just all a show. So they blame the president when in actuality, it is the Congress, it is the legislators who get to decide whether their president gets to stay in power after he's been voted in by the people. If they do something illegal, they will do up articles of impeachment and say what you did was either a crime or it was unlawful, it's a violation, or it's causing danger to our country. Not one Republican for all of the last 4 years wrote up articles of impeachment while they go on and on and on about all the people coming in. And it is a security violation. If they need to make an exception to the amount that was established for the yearly cap because of the amount of conflicts going on and around our world, amount of people fleeing, the Ukraine war was horrible. You had people fleeing by the millions because they were going in there blowing people up. You have other conflicts around the world. You have people that are in desperate need for refugee status. Then you got people that, they're not really in need. They just want to go to America and live the dream. You know, you're really abusing the system. But we can't look at those people and decide who's really in need and who's not. That's not our job. But we do know that that is happening, and there's been, certain things being said, right? So in videos, okay, they're literally just coming over here, not even trying to come through ports of entry. And ports of entry is our security. That's our security. We know when they come in through ports of entry, they have their pictures. When they come in, they're supposed to apply. And, they have this app where they're supposed to be checking in. They get vetted and all this other stuff. But then he's not doing anything about Border Patrol, who is clearly seen on videos just lifting barbed wire, letting people come in. And then a lot of them are sneaking in. Department of Homeland Security has a report of how many people were on terrorist watch lists that made it in. So if there's a bunch of them that made it in, there's a bunch of them that didn't get caught, right? So it is a danger. It is endangering our country. But none of the Republicans, including Senator Vance, wrote up articles of impeachment of President Biden. None of them. They have a recent articles of impeachment, and that's just because it's election time. So we, the people, really have to recognize this, that this is what's happening. And then there's another thing. The presidents don't have the power to just write laws. They have executive powers to write executive orders, start initiatives. They're the ones that get to, handpick when a federal judge needs to be put in place. And whoever ends up federal judges, that's probably the most important thing, right? As far as the need to vote. But they don't have the power to just do what they want, because you have radical left federal judges who blocks presidents. You have conservative judges who block Biden. It's the judges who are in control, right? And the people need to demand the legislators to pass laws limiting the federal judges or holding the federal judges accountable, because a lot of times they're the ones destroying the Constitution. But this guy here, he just goes on and 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 on, and I don't even listen to their debates, because they're just so full of it. It's all a show. And people, I only say this because I want people, especially the younger people, to really understand that if anybody's angry about people coming in and not being vetted and the things they're doing at the border, they need to recognize that if they're a Republican, they can't blame Biden. They need to blame themselves. They need to look right in the mirror and say, oh, hi me, I'm to blame for our president doing these things, because I didn't speak up to these legislators and hold them accountable for not holding Biden accountable. I'm to blame. That's right. Because we are. Because these senators and this guy here, it's worse when you claim to be a person of faith and then you're making movies that takes the Lord's name in vain. Do you know there's a company, it's called the seal, the Pure Dove Seal? And basically what that is when you see movies and it's got that dove seal on it, it means it's faith and family friendly. Okay? His movie doesn't make that pass. It doesn't make that approval, because not only does it have a lot of profanity in it, but it has a lot of taking the Lord's name in vain, which is one of the most sacred things to people of faith. It says in our daily prayer, hallowed be thy name. You shall not take the Lord's name in vain. Right? It's like, Christianity 101. And he teaches it's okay. He literally made money off of taking the Lord's name in vain. And so of all the Christian conservatives that Trump had to choose from, he chose him. Now, he did say bad things about Trump that were not true, and then he acknowledged that he was wrong for saying those things. So there's that. That was good, right? But it's just a bunch of nonsense for either one of them to say that we all should blame Biden for the immigration crisis. I see a lot of people who came here legally and did everything the right way, that are also outraged because they're like, what they paid and the amount of effort that they took to do things the right way and the amount of time they waited, and then they see all these people just walking in, and so it's just really truly, they're to blame. The Republicans are just as much to blame, and I just want to say that because it's true. I want you to think in your mind, if you're listening to this, how many Republicans sought articles of impeachment? I'm not talking about the recent ones that they're doing because now it's election time. All this time, these people have been coming in here to the point where people are convoying down there that they're so outraged. How many Republicans sought emergency injunctions in federal court, quoting, here's the law that says how many people can come in and apply for asylum status. Here's the law. We create that cap, and he's violating this law. He's not even acting like it's a thing that he has to comply with. And he's endangering our country because you have this increased amount of people that are caught, that are on the terrorist watch list, and then you have pictures of videos of Border Patrol lifting the barbed wire, and they're not even coming in through ports of entry. They should be allowed to arrest people who try to come in outside the ports of entry, period. Right? And so you don't see them. You don't see them filing articles of impeachment to follow that law. So they're just as much to blame.